Okay, this is session 19 of the Eberron Out of Time game. Who remembers what happened in session 18?
Well, I remember uh, we were leaving the Black Pit
Yep.
after the Night of Long Knives, and there were a bunch of refugees on the road of everybody kind of going away. There were a number that were just like trying to wait it out and we would stop to try to convince them that they should just keep going because the uh, the maze, the kind of the expanding of the rift into the plane of Fernia was growing.
Yeah, that was another thing that we learned is that apparently it was a manifest zone that had been created that hadn't previously been uh known or understood to exist there. So it was like they spontaneous manifest zone. I also remember there was concern around um rations during the trip. And so Elzin and Pebble used their cooking skill and good berries to be able to make the rations last a bit longer.
Right. I forgot the good berries in my summary. I remembered the cooking, but I did forget the good berries. So yeah, I mean, you helped get this caravan. I mean, the people broke basically in two directions. Some went south, most went north. You managed to keep the caravans that was going north on the right track. At one point, because people were just sort of jettisoning things that weren't all that useful, Pebble noticed some shiny things in a crate that got thrown over the side that was marked with the House Civis mark, and found three rather large gemstones inside, one of which was clearly magical, and a letter that said that all of them, that one of them had been enchanted, and the other two had been prepared to be enchanted. But they were three very different gems, but they're sizable. So uh, keep that in mind. They're probably valuable. Elzin took the magical one and figured out what it did. Um, when you went further north, just outside the city of Cragmore, you came across a camp of essentially homeless veterans of the last war who were not being allowed into Cragmore, as not everyone was. Not even all the refugees were being let into Cragmore from Black Pit, mostly because Cragmore is largely dominated by the Kundaraks at this point, and having a bunch of homeless people who don't really have the means to find housing for themselves just would seem unseemly to the Kundaraks. So they were keeping them mostly outside. The outside wasn't completely unurbanized, but it wasn't nearly as fancy or had the same level of wealth as the people inside the walls of Cragwar. But the veterans themselves, the veteran camp was even outside of that. When you went there, at so Pebble started a riot
Yep.
because they were asking for money, and Pebble started throwing money to the crowd in for them pretty large amounts, and so everybody wanted to get a share of what was being handed out. So the first guy got a bunch of silver and he got trampled. The second guy got a mix of silver and gold and he also got trampled. Uh, one of the veterans, in an effort to sort of stop you from continuing to move on, took a short sword and made a cut in Ziggy to try to hobble the horse, which enraged Pebble. So I don't think we've seen an enraged Pebble before this. So Pebble attacked with his trident and fists, but the woman didn't fight back really. She immediately begged to be spared the onslaught after getting pummeled through one round. Um, then Lee helped the second of the two veterans up. That guy was named Lareth Khalid, and he started traveling with you. And at least there's been a promise that you would pay him for service. So he has essentially become a retainer of the party, and has been with you ever since. You stayed overnight in Cragmore. You took Layrith, who had some broken ribs, to a House Jarasco healing facility. You also took Ziggy there. They weren't used to treating horses, but you paid the fee, so they agreed to take a look at Ziggy's wounds. You stayed overnight in Cragmore and then left the next day for Fort Light, where you boarded the lightning rail to go to Sharn. Uh, the lightning rail was largely uneventful. Lee read a bunch of newspapers where they did have some reporting, at least by like the second day. In some of the newspapers, there was reporting of what went on in Black Pit. The details were not entirely accurate from what you could tell, but some of them were. And you're quite a distance from Black Pit, and it had only been, about a week and a half at that point, not even quite a week and a half. And the story had to have been written before then to get into the newspaper and for the newspaper to be transmitted around the countryside. It was the Cornburg Chronicle, so it's from Zalargo, not even from Breland. Uh, but they got some of the details right and a lot of the details wrong. And then at the end of the session, you finally reached Sharn. Seeing Sharn for the first time in sort of all of its glory from tail to tip, all the way up into the sky for miles. You're used to it being definitely like hundreds of yards tall, but not like a mile and a half tall, and no sign of the bite around it. So you have arrived in Sharn. The lightning rail has pulled in. Everyone is getting off as this is a terminal for the lightning rail.
Alden's just looking up, and a little awestruck. Despite being a city that he's so familiar with, it's like he's coming back to it for the first time and seeing it for the first time in like an age of splendor. Wow, this is what it once was. It's so glamorous.
It's really, really big. Is that where we're going?
Yes, it is.
Wow.
I wonder what my house is like.
Very different, I'm sure. Stick close. We don't want you to get lost. Looking down at Pebble.
I want to go to the top and then I want to pee.
Well, you might pee on people, buddy.
I just want to see how far it was. It's so tall.
Of course, up there, the wind might just whip it right back at you. It's pretty windy up there. It would be.
I don't even know.
I'm telling you, it would be. Be very windy. Unless they have
I
magical
don't,
barriers.
I don't
Maybe.
even know how penguins pee, to be honest. Never even thought about it.
Or does it just fall as snow?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I should say it is surprisingly different outside from what it was up in Black Pit. It is probably, I mean, first of all, the sky is blue, which you're not necessarily all that used to. It is a very clear and sunny day. but it's also about 70 degrees. Like this is a subtropical area, so it doesn't get, it's winter, but it doesn't get super cold. At night, maybe it goes down to like 50.
How many days was it from the veteran camp to Crag
Uh,
estimate? Well, I mean, was it the next day or is it a couple of different days?
from the, yeah, it was basically like less than a day out. This was like
Okay,
just outside the limits of Cragmore, as close as they could get without the town watch of Cragmore muscling them out further.
gotcha. Okay.
Now, there are, it was not, it, I'm, I'm, I'm not quite sure mm, how to handle members of my household, given that we are from a different time, and I would obviously be marked, and I don't wish to really open that kind of worm. So I'm going to, Evan, if you would be with me in using discretion regarding, being part of House Calandra, at least
What do
until
you mean? They're your family. Don't don't you get along with your family?
I do. Yes, but this is my family from however many years ago, thousands of
200,
two hundred,
220 some.
and uh, it feels like going around and saying we're from the future is not something we should quite advertise.
What do you mean we're from the future? What's the future?
Never mind. But anyway, just don't say don't if it comes up, don't say I'm from House Galandra. At least for now.
Pebble was never going to say Galandra.
Alzen was probably pretty sure of that, but he was saying it more for Thaldur
There's
and Lee's sake.
it's got 3 whole syllables.
I just realized I've been misspelling Thaldurin. For me, I was thinking more Duran as in Duran Duran.
Nope. Not quiet.
So you see most of the people so the Lightning Rail station uh essentially is a closed off area. There is both a way out of Sharn and then a way sort of into Sharn proper. Both directions seem to have city watch people manning the gates. In the direction that goes into Sharn, they are checking papers.
Checking papers.
Yeah, most people in Sharn carry identification papers.
I see. Anybody have identification papers?
What's
Are they
that?
gonna let us? Do they let us in if we don't have them?
I mean, I'm sure we can apply for ID identification papers. I happen to have some, but they have they have my real name on it.
Well, I mean, that might just get us inside.
Well, it might get me inside. I don't know about you.
You're a clever folk. I don't know.
You'll
You're
see.
right. I don't know. We'll have to look. Maybe they'll just let us inside.
Elzen pulls out his staff. He like pulls it out of the ground. He gets his ID papers ready, which he actually does have ID papers. Uh,
So the line moves relatively slowly. There are a number of guards who are checking people's papers, but it's a fair number of people got off of the train in Charn, it being probably the major stop on the route. And when you get to the front, you see the guy standing before you. He's probably about 45. He's, starting to go gray. You're guessing from the look of him that he's a half elf, but he's a particularly human looking half elf. And he looks a little bored. He looks up at you quickly and glances at all of you and says, "Papers."
What's that?
I have my papers, and this is my retinue. They do not have theirs, but I have it on good authority that they are fine.
And he reaches out to take your ID and says, "We're not allowed to let anybody in without their papers." And he looks down at your ID and looks back up at you. This is sort of an odd form of identity document.
What is odd about it?
I mean, it's not in the normal format. Where is it from?
It is from my house.
He looks it over. It says you're from Shosharn. I'm not familiar with that town. Is that in the Talenta Plains or something?
It is just what we call Sharn
Oh,
amongst ourselves.
okay. A halfling thing, I guess. Um, so you're really with House Galandra.
I am.
He starts to like quiz you about things that are in the identity documents, but you're familiar enough with it that you're able to answer the questions. Well, give me a persuasion roll.
Something I this is something I'm good at. All right.
Well, since you're House Galandra, I guess it makes sense that you're traveling with a retinue. All right, I'll bend the rules a bit and let you through. And
It
he
is
takes out a piece of paper and puts a stamp onto it. I'm going to need all of your names.
Oh, I'm Pebble.
And what species are you?
I don't know what that is.
Pangle.
he's a penguin. They hail from the far north.
So he starts writing something down on this sheet of paper. And
What's
then he
this for?
looks at, you're going to need to have a document that shows that you were authorized to enter.
Nice.
And your name?
Name's Thaldrin.
So he writes your name down. Can you remove your helmet, please? I need to write a description.
Helmet comes off, the hair's in the way.
Yeah. He starts, he just sort of absent-mindedly glances up and starts writing down something.
Silently swooning.
And he then looks at Lee and your name,
Lee,
any surname or just Lee.
just Lee.
And so he writes something down on the sheet, looks up at you, writes down a description, And he hands you each a piece of paper that he has stamped and sealed that says that you pass through the lightning rail gate C, the time of day, and that his name is embossed in the seal he put on this document, saying that he let you through. And there's like a little description. Thaldarin's description is somewhat inaccurate because he couldn't really see Thaldarin's eyes, but he listed you as having brown eyes.
Well, that's wrong. My eyes are obviously green. Though you can't tell, obviously.
Snatches the piece of paper back and crosses it out, writes green, and hands it back to you.
Appreciate it, gentlemen.
So Elzen's is, he doesn't have to give you a separate sheet of paper. He's actually stamped it into your ID papers itself.
Thank you for your understanding.
How long are you going to be in Sharn?
Hopefully a while.
Do you have business in Sharn? Place to
Ah,
stay?
yes, we are heading to the university.
Oh, I see. Are you a scholar?
Yes.
And
Yes.
he writes something down in your ID document. Well, I hope you enjoy your time in Sharn. Looks past you. Next.
Have a great day.
Yeah,
Thanks, you too.
get out of there.
Is his name legible that he wrote down on there?
Uh, yes, his name is Timus McKine.
I miss McTime.
McKine.
Time face. What?
And I assume that Lareth got his.
Oh, yeah. I forgot. Yes, Lareth would have also gotten a piece of paper and a
Okay.
description.
Okay.
Did Cargill have some papers? Is he still with us?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Cargill would have gotten through pretty easily. He actually has ID papers, like regular ID papers.
Yeah.
Like you also would have noticed your ID papers have your date of birth, but this guy didn't pay attention to that.
Are they just not written in?
Oh, so I mean, like if he you don't know what he was thinking, but he probably looked at the date and was like, "Well, that's obviously a
Yeah, that's
typo."
wrong.
Oh, yeah,
That's
yeah.
wrong.
So, or maybe he's just so bored with his job he didn't even bother to really register it.
Right.
This will be someone else's problem.
Yeah. Worst case, they're terrorists.
They could be
So
that far from me.
you walk through, there's a large archway behind these city guards who are acting as gate agents. And beyond, you can see um, it is a large sort of covered area. You can see from like the general outline that you're inside a tower, but being unfamiliar with Sharn in this age, you're not really sure where you are. These outer towers on the outskirts of the city don't go high enough for them to continue to exist in the age you're from. This tower would have been completely covered by the bite. So you are not 100% sure what district you're in or what level you're on because this is all ancient history to you.
Got to be a map.
Yeah.
You do not see a map. There's
Look,
no you are here map.
look for somebody who looks scholarly.
There's definitely nobody who looks particularly scholarly here. You are pretty low in the city. There was when the lightning rail comes in, it doesn't actually come in like exactly at ground level. There is like a very large bridge that extends up pretty high, but it's still only like 200 feet off the ground when it comes in. So you're not quite at the base of Sharn, but you're not very high in the towers of Sharn either.
Well, we got the other guy with us. Can't think of his name. Maybe he knows where the university is. Has he ever
Cargill?
been here? Yeah.
Right. So Cargill knows where the university is, but he doesn't necessarily know his way from the lightning rail to get there.
Gotcha. Okay.
I
Okay.
mean, actually, you also know where the university is in the sense that it's way up high in the tower. It is
Right.
essentially on the same level as all the governmental buildings at the near the top, just below the Skyway, the floating part of the city.
So do we have to just go towards
Wait
the
a second.
center and
Wait a
go
second.
up
We got
from there?
Molly. Molly should know what the city used to look like.
Hey, Molly, you got a map of this
We gotta
place?
we gotta have the map.
I mean, I know how the city's laid out. I don't have I can't like flash up pictures for you.
I mean,
Huh?
can you say, hey, turn right,
Yeah.
turn left, take this elevator?
Uh,
Come on, Thomas Thomas.
so where are you looking to go?
I mean, I guess the
Do we want the fastest route or the
scenic route. Do we want to go straight
one
to
with the less
the
traffic, least amount of traffic?
right? Yeah. Can you take some back alleys to get there? Less people. No. Do we want to go straight to the academy or whatever, the university?
I think we should. I
What
mean,
time is it? Midday? What is it?
It is about 3 p.m.
So,
And Lil Mully informs you that you are in a section of the city that was called Terminus, or is called Terminus now.
Sure. Makes sense. The
so
end of the line.
Pebble is just like enthralled looking at this place and all the sides and everything.
I'm
Uh,
holding his little fin
is
so
there
he doesn't wander
anything?
off.
Is there anything in particular that Pebble might look at and be like, I gotta go there?
but shiny blit things.
So I'm not sure what Pebble would be interested in here. There are a lot of little stands that sell knickknacks.
Oh my God,
The,
knickknacks. There's nothing Pebble likes better than
right,
knickknacks.
like you can easily find like Sharn t-shirts that they're selling to the people who are going to the lightning rail.
I went to Sharn and all I got was this lousy t-shirt.
Right. Like there are you find a stall that is nothing but Sharn snow globes.
Oh my God, look at that. And look at that. Yo,
But like
what's that?
bad snow globes or good snow globes?
Like cheap snow globes.
A lot of
I
high.
mean, so they don't have plastic, so they're not quite that cheap. They do have glass on them. But they're, the image of Sharn inside is not at all accurate or to scale. They also have, keychains and like novelty wallets.
These things are so cool. They're so cool.
These
They
are
sure
all
are.
these are all high quality items. You obviously have a discerning eye. You
Yes,
should
I
get one.
do.
You're gonna want to remember your trip to Sharn.
I do not think we could. It is possible to forget. No
But
souvenir.
but with this, you can always look and relive the good times that you were in Sharn.
I
We're still
love
here.
living good times.
The high on Sharn t-shirts seem it is tempting.
Can,
We
can I have
hey
it?
hey Pebble, haven't had any time here to remember yet.
I
Let's
love
go
the
have the
notion that
times,
there
then
is
we
a
can get it.
I love the notion that there is a high on Sharn t-shirt.
We got to go experience the city first before we can buy its souvenirs.
I don't know what that is, but we are here, and this is right here, and it's so cool. What, can I have it?
And he looks at the merchant.
Well, you can't simply have it. I have to make a living here. I have to feed my family, so we sell these things. Where are you
What?
from?
What do you want for it?
He looks down and looks up at you.
And I,
Well, are you looking to get us one of the snow globes? What catches your eye?
The thing that I can put on.
Show one of the shirts then.
Yeah.
Well, these are high quality shirts. They sell for 5 gold each.
Oh, those coins.
And he takes out a handful and just puts it on the table. Let's see.
Elzen will like stop before he
Let's count-
makes
let's
it.
count
It's
it
Yeah,
out.
like-
yeah.
Let's
So
count it
let's
out.
roll. Let's roll for initiative because the merchant reaches out immediately as well. Uh-oh, that's not good for the merchant. You are able to grab the coins before the merchant gets there.
Yeah, I'll leave like 5 out, but like
Right.
save the rest.
Even 5 seems like a lot.
It's just worth silver at the most. But Pebble,
Like, here, put that back in your pocket.
Pebble. He does not. It is not that much.
What do you mean?
I
If you
think
get-
I should know how much I sell my own merchandise for.
He does not. This is way more than 5 gold.
How many gold did
Oh,
you
yeah.
put down?
I counted it out. I counted out 5, and I gave him, here, put this back in your pocket. There you go. You gave him the right amount now. Good job.
Okay. Can I have it?
So he hands you a shirt.
And he like grabs it and he like holds it up to his neck and he feels the shirt, the texture of the shirt. And then he puts it on his head, but he doesn't put it all the way on. He just puts it on like a scarf.
Yeah,
Your
I
arms
don't.
go through there.
Yeah, I don't know. So, I mean, the shirt, from what you can tell, it doesn't appear to be of particularly bad quality. It's not especially soft, but you also have like a layer of feathers. So, I'm not sure that soft is a concept that Pengals usually go for.
We should really be on our way.
Are you sure I can't interest you in a snow globe? Only 10 gold.
No. No.
And he turns one upside down so that all the snow falls and then turns it back and you watch
It's
as
like
the little
home. It's like
particles
home.
drift through whatever liquid is inside this glass globe.
It's snowing. It's snowing. Just like at home.
It doesn't even does
It doesn't
even
snow in Shard
snow
very
in
often.
Sharn?
No, not often. Like once every decade they'll get some snow. Once every 100 years they'll get like a big snow.
No.
But come on, who else?
Come on.
He may never get another snow globe customer. This is the perfect sale.
Come on, Pebble. We
We
can
gotta,
we can make more snow globes. Though they're easy to find.
we gotta look around.
They are?
If you buy everything you come across, you'll run out of money. You won't be able to buy anything else.
But I want that one now. I can't tell what I'm gonna want later.
This one
Yeah.
is very special. I've been saving it for someone super special, and along
I
comes your friend here. I mean,
am special.
it's
They
just
gave me
like
a crown.
I
see,
look at the salesman. I'm like, hey, sir,
it's
now's
just
your
like
time.
his home.
Now's your
It's
time to
like a
back
little
up.
piece. It's like a little piece of home and Sharn combined into one.
Uh, Pebble just takes out a bunch of coins and throws them at the guy, and then snatches one of the snow globes.
So yeah, he scrambles behind the stall to pick up the coins.
All right, let's see
I
how
pick up a
many.
snow globe too.
Let's see. Uh, so he throws 35 silver pieces.
So he starts chasing the coins. He doesn't seem to care that you took two snow globes.
I know he doesn't. That's why I took one.
This thing is so cool, and this thing is so cool. They're all so cool.
All right, buddy. Let's get moving. We gotta focus.
Allison's gonna just start moving in the direction.
We'll never make it to the top if we spend all our time here.
It's
So
like
you hear Mully ask, "So do you want to take the fast way to get to Morgrave University or the inexpensive way?" I'm guessing the fast way, given the number of coins Pebble throws.
how much is the fast way?
Well, the fast way would be to find a sky sled, and then you could just tell him where you want to go, and he will fly you directly there. I don't know. I don't have a detailed enough knowledge to know exactly where you can catch a sky sled down here, but this is Terminus. I'm sure they're here somewhere.
Let's walk around.
The slow way requires, you get a lift, you go up a level, you move to the next lift, you go up a level. Eventually, you're going to have to do some walking to get all the way from where we are around to the southern tip, because that's around where Morgrave University is.
Let us take the sky sled. I think between us we can pull together funds for a sled. Unless Lee you want to fly. It would seem a little silly for you to take a son to fly when you are perfectly capable. Unless you just don't feel like it.
I mean, it
Unless
is
this
quite a distance up.
unless the sled moves really fast.
Yeah. How far up?
I mean, so the sled wouldn't necessarily, you fly what, 50? Is that Mike's rule? I don't remember. It's 30 sometimes for like, I think the standard player's
Flight
handbook.
50, yeah.
Okay. So you actually could fly faster than these sleds tend to go. Um, but it is quite a distance. Like it's like a mile up from where you are to get and on so the Morgrave University is on the Memphis Plateau, which isn't like the absolute southern part of the city, but it's just north of the southern part of the city. You're in Tavik's Landing, so it's sort of on a different projection from the ground up. Um, but it's pretty high, so you'd have to fly up quite a distance. So you could do it
I'm
if
curious because Sharn is on a manifest zone with Surania or whatever it's called. Would Lee have an easier time flying in Sharn?
so that is a good question. I I would say yes. For flavor purposes, maybe it wouldn't be so hard for you to fly on your own because of the connection. Is it Sarania? I don't know. I have to look that
Uh
up.
What is
That
it?
is a name I did not focus on. For some reason, I've been calling it Syriana. But that is because
Serania.
there was there is a movie that I remember called Serrania or Syriana, I mean. Okay, so Serrania, my mistake. So yeah, you probably could fly alongside a sky sled and not have to pay. Um, maybe get dirty looks from the cabbie who's driving the sky sled, who loses a fare, but it
It'll be
is
fun.
not hard to find a sky sled that can fly you up there.
Ah,
How much does that cost?
So the driver looks at you all and says, "Where are you going?"
Warbright University.
Uh, um, and he looks down at a sheet of paper he has and says, uh, "That'll be 15 gold each."
very well.
Oof, that didn't leave me with a lot.
Yeah, I was the one handing him 15 gold.
So Cargill's happy to pay 15 gold. Laerith doesn't have 15 gold to his name.
Yeah, I got it. I'm paying him. I'm paying for his.
This is coming out of your paycheck.
Worried about it.
Then Laerith will meet you there because 15 gold would have gotten him halfway to Rote.
So Pebble hands the cabbie like a handful of random coins.
So how many coins do you hand him?
17 silver and 6 gold.
Uh, he looks at it and initially begins counting out the silver and sees that you've stopped and says,
Is there something wrong with your hand?
yeah, there's not 15 gold in it.
Oh,
And then he gives a handful more. Uh 15 more silver.
Okay, this is not enough.
oh, okay.
Uh and 5 more silver.
Okay, we're gonna be here quite a while. Do you have any Galifars on you?
What's that?
Gold coins.
Which one's the gold one?
And he
I
holds up one of the golden coins, the yellow ones.
Oh, yeah, let me see.
Can
He gives
penguins see
him
yellow? I don't
eight
know.
eight more.
How many gold did you give him the first time? I forget.
So I gave
I think it was
him
6.
6 gold and 17 silver, and another 15 silver, and another 5 silver, and then 8 gold.
I basically give this guy a big sack of fucking silver. Um, and then I go down to help Pebble pick out the necessary amount of coin. Here, let me help you, guy.
So yeah, he starts like handing you back some of the silver.
Finally got enough.
There, that's 15. It's 10 silver to a Galifar, 10 sovereigns to a Galifar. These are sovereigns, and he holds up a silver coin. These are Galifars.
Oh, okay. I'm not so
To
great at
remember,
counting.
I can see that.
This
Maybe
is
your
why we're
friends,
going to university.
maybe your friends can help you count in the future.
Okay.
But it's all sorted out now, so feel free to get in. So 5 of you get in. I assume Lee's flying on his own.
Yeah.
So the sky sled moves away from the dock that he's at. And about 15 minutes later, mostly flying upwards, you cross over to the Memphis Plateau, and he brings the sky sled down in front of a large tower. Above the archway, you can see engraved in the stone is Moorgrave University. It looks cleaner than you remember it, but largely unchanged. It was an old structure even in this era.
Ah, familiar sights.
Thank you for choosing Happy Flight Sky Sleds. I hope we can get your business in the future.
Uh, do you have do you have a way we could contact you if we need to?
Nope. How would you do that?
Magic.
I mean, I guess you could cast sending.
Do you have a name?
Yes, I'm Maury Shagat.
Maurice Chagat? Very good. If we should require another lift, we will be in contact.
Got to keep track of the name of the cabbie you took in case it ever comes up.
You never know. Sometimes it's helpful to have sometimes it's helpful to have somebody get call to get you out of something.
So he lifts off again and flies off. Flying, he sort of flies. First, he flies out of the area of the tower that he landed in, but he seems like he's sticking pretty close to the level you're on, seeing if there's anyone who needs a sky sled. Probably going to return down to the terminus layer again. And you are standing outside Moorgrave University. There are actually a series of towers that are Moorgrave University. You've landed in front of what is normally considered to be the main tower. Like most of you're in the area where there is the library and classrooms and where back in this age students usually would have been. But there are also administrative towers and academic towers and research towers.
Do we know where at Margrave University our contact is?
You do not necessarily know where you could find this guy.
So I guess I think we do not know shoot, what was his name?
Delvius Bereth.
I do not. Perhaps we should go to the administrative building, one of them,
Or the student lounge.
or the student lounge. Students probably know.
Hey Molly, where's the King of Fire located compared to where we are now?
It's nowhere around here. King of Fire was, at least according to what I could see, also in Lower Tavik's Landing, which is where we just came from.
Got it.
Not the terminus layer, but a different part of Tavik's Landing.
Got it.
What's a Fire King?
The King of
What
Fire
the
is listed as being a former tavern with a theme of a forge. I don't know what that entails necessarily, but apparently it had been in operation for more than 50 years at this point in time. So a long-standing tradition in Lower Tavick's Landing.
now? Well, the note that was on the rat mentioned the place. Probably should have, maybe should have gone there first, but oh well. We'll go in time. Maybe take our time going down there.
Yes, I do not see us needing to take
That
another
being said,
slice.
we don't live here, so we will need to find a place to stay.
Yes, I was hoping that our contact here from Margrave University could help arrange accommodations. That's what I was hoping right away anyway. That's why I wanted to go here, figure out where we can sleep, and then we can have a home base.
See if we can find this guy.
So, we could do like a group check, I guess, which is everybody roll me a charisma check. In this case, I'm just going to take the highest roll. Normally, with a group check, I like the group check mechanic that they came up with, but normally you take like the median for things like stealth.
Can I do persuasion?
So this is sure. I doesn't necessarily matter to me in this case.
It would just give me proficiency, is all.
So Thalderin is the first to find someone who knows Professor Bareth. Uh, it's one of the students there and says, "Oh, I took a class with Professor Bareth. Um, I don't know if he's teaching any classes this semester, but if he's not in a classroom, then I would expect him to be in the staff tower.
I
He's
appreciate that.
he's pretty high up. He's on the top floor.
Do they let people just walk in there?
Normally, you need some sort of like student ID. They can signal him that you're here if you have an appointment with him. I'm sure he'll signal down that you're allowed in.
I think that'll work out. Yes. Thank you very much.
So you make your way to the staff tower. As the student explained, when you go in, you can see there is like a closed door and somebody sitting behind a desk who looks up at you. Yes, are you here to see someone?
The good Professor Baref? Was that what it? What was it?
Bereth, Boreth. Um, are you students?
We are colleagues. Uh, we sent we are we're making good on an appointment that we made a long time in the future.
It's about his thesis. We got some issues with it.
About Professor Bareth's thesis?
Oh yeah.
He's
You have
expecting us.
okay. Hold on just a second. Uh, he scribbles something down on a piece of paper and rolls it up and puts it into a tube. It looks like it's a piece of crystal, but he puts it inside and screws a top on it and reaches back where there's a series of pipes. Opens up one of the pipes and puts the tube in, and you hear the sound of wind rushing through the tube, and then there's a as the tube disappears, shooting up into the pipe.
Oh, that
If you
was
want to
so
have a
cool.
Oh, so that's what those are used
You
for.
can't fit in there, Pebble.
Are you sure?
Yep.
I don't know. I can
Yeah.
fit in pretty small spaces.
You can imagine Pebbles just trying to like put his tongue in it.
Gotta squeeze in there.
Have we not? I need to show you a movie. It's called
Uh-oh.
Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
That sounds like an interesting movie.
You ever see the Dropout TV Willy Wonka's lawyer's opening statement sketch?
No.
It's actually pretty funny. Where the guy's like, I forget the guy's name. He's a comedian, but he's like, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, if you warn the little German child not to go near the chocolate river, and he goes over to drink from the chocolate river, who is to blame? If you warn the child that the gum is experimental and the child pops the gum into its mouth, who really is to blame? He's like, the true monsters here are the very children my client meant to save. But I was thinking, yeah, Pebble might stick his tongue in the tube. Other people might stick other things, so you could be lucky.
Oh, it's Paul F. Tompkins.
Yes, that's it. But so he motions towards a series of benches off to the side. There are a couple other people waiting, and Cargill goes up after you and says, "I'm here to see Davis Egret." And the guy writes down a note after taking Cargill's information and shoots another little tube up. And Cargill goes and sits down on one of the benches. Well,
Any vending
fellas,
machines?
no, you don't see any vending machines. But Cargill says, well, fellas, I think we're probably going to part company here. I hope we run into one another again.
Keep in touch.
I hope so. Good luck.
Pebble gives him a hug, a freezing hug.
So he's shivering under the onslaught and reaches around tentatively to pat Pebble on the back of the shoulder.
The onslaught of Pebbles' love.
I have to dress more warmly next time.
Yes. His love sends chills and all. Chills in us all.
After a minute, you see like a little crystal tube comes flying out of one of the pipes and lands in a basket, and the guy picks it up and calls for Cargill, who is then given a pass and then waves goodbye and walks off. And then a couple of minutes after that, there's another parcel that comes down, and the guy picks it up and looks inside and says, Professor Barath says he doesn't know who you are and you don't have an appointment, so you'll have to make an appointment and come back another day.
We still have that note that the rat had.
Didn't the rat note have wasn't
Yeah,
that the fire?
oh, no, that's not the one.
Yeah, that was the
thinking
King of
some-
Fire
I'm
Where
thinking
did we get
something
this
silly.
dude's name from?
from the Shepherds of Time in the future.
Oh,
Do you mind if we write a quick note on there for you to send to him?
I don't mind. I don't know that it's going to do any good.
That's all right. I
Everyone,
don't.
by the way, make me an insight check. So Pebble, Elzen, and Lee, you notice there is a human guy who's been sort of like these sort of seemingly absent-mindedly scribbling away in a notebook that he has. Um, the moment when you went up to the desk, the moment you said you were here to see Professor Bareth, his eyes raised and he was clearly interested in that fact and started scribbling more furiously into his notebook. But he's, not necessarily paying attention to you at the moment, but he definitely took notice when he heard who you were here to see.
It's a dangerous thing for Pebble to take notice of something. He immediately
Mm-hmm.
goes over and says,
Hi, I'm Pebble. What you doing? Are you drawing? I love to see drawings.
Well, I'm not drawing, friend, I'm writing. So you're here to see Professor Boreth, are you?
Uh, if that's what my friend said, then that's what we're doing.
And he reaches out a hand to shake yours.
and
I'm Ra-
Pebble hugs him.
Oh, well, unexpected. Rel Partha, Sharn Inquisitive. So may I ask, what's your business with Professor Boreth?
I am the no. It got
Does
something to do with the place that we were from because there was this big cloud and they were green and they have bad guys in them and things that might eat us. And then we were in this town and then it blew up and there was a red cloud and it had things in there that might eat us. And then there was this thing and it killed my friend and it wasn't really cool. Made me really sad. It was strange because it just went through him and then it shocked him and then it came out and there were two of them. But then we saw my friend again. He was a spirit though. So, but he seemed like he was drowning and he had all this water coming out. And then, but then we saw this other ghost and we fought the ghost. And then my friend, he just was like, okay, bye, I love you. And then he disappeared.
he is
And then,
furiously scribbling in his notebook as you're talking.
oh, and then someone stabbed Ziggy. So I got real mad and I defended Diggy. And then we went and healed Diggy, and then we got this guy whose name I don't know, Lele, I think, something like that. And then we came on this thing that went real fast. And then we got here, and the place is so big. And then I got this little scarf thing, and I got a snow globe, and it looks just like home. Because it snows.
And he holds it upside down.
Well, that's all fascinating. Let's start with, you say you were in a town and it exploded. What town were you in?
The one we came from before.
Does this town have a name?
Maybe.
I mean, I'm not saying you all seem suspicious, but you are here to see a professor who never grants any of my requests for a meeting, one who seemingly appeared out of thin air years ago, despite him being 150 years old. He seems to only have about 80 years of history to his name, and many of his known associates seem to be people with no discernible past and forged identity documents.
Mm.
So, help me out. How did a
Nice.
bunch of, forgive me, but rumpled road ravaged ragamuffins such as yourselves, who haven't even shaken the dust off your boots, uh, decide to come see one of the premier academics of Margrave?
Like I said, issues with his thesis.
See, that seems to be itself a little bit odd because I've done a lot of research into the professor, and near as I could tell, he sort of turned up with a degree in hand. I couldn't find his thesis. What was
Yeah,
his thesis even on?
exactly. That's why it makes it so sketchy. That's why we need to talk to him.
But even if there were a problem with his thesis, that would have been more than 80 years ago. I don't think he's going to lose his position at the university just because there's a problem with the thesis.
Wouldn't put it past those academics,
Pieces of
especially
what? What are you
tenure.
guys talking about with these pieces?
Pebble, you didn't tell him about your how you were king of the circus.
Oh yeah, I got to ride on a giant dog, and there were these mirrors, and they kept breaking, and there were things coming through them, and this guy he just was choking me, and then there was the big old naked ladies that were real old that were doing the thing, and we had to stand the person in the middle of them, and then. And the bubble! I got to find a bubble, and there was a giant elephant. I got to ride on the elephant, and they give me a crown.
When
He
he
again is furiously writing in his notebook as you talk.
But
when Pebble starts this, I'm going to go up to the guy we've been talking to and ask him who this guy is. I know he said his name, but I mean, what's his deal?
You mean the guy manning the desk? The
Yeah, it's
receptionist?
like, yeah, who is this guy?
That's Raul Partha. He's a reporter from the Sharn Inquisitive, the newspaper. He's been here trying to get more information on Professor Borith for quite a while. I think he just hangs out here and talks to anybody who happens to know Professor Borith. He's been here for a couple days now, but
Huh?
I think he's been investigating Professor Borith for a couple months. At least that's what I've heard.
Oh, okay.
so is there a way for me to does he have a method for me to write a note or anything?
Yeah, he clearly is surprised by the suggestion, but he doesn't have an objection to it. So he
I
slides a quill and the inkwell over.
I sort of discreetly write down Shepherds of Time, and then I fold the paper up and say, "Please don't look at this, but send it to him, please."
Is there an inside check? Be
So
like, I won't look at it. That's serious.
I feel like we could see him, right? So
Like,
I
so
feel
is
like
the
I feel like he's a professional. So I probably don't even need to say anything. I just sort of
so
fold it up, say, "Here, send this to him, please."
so yeah, what exactly does the paper say?
we are
Shepherds of
from the
Time.
future.
It just says Shepherds of Time.
Okay. Um, so make me a persuasion check because this guy's instinct will be to at least look at it to make sure it doesn't say like if you don't let us up, I'm going to kill you. If you don't let us up, the receptionist gets it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I just. What do you want me to roll?
It's a persuasion check. It's not a
Oh, okay, okay,
super
okay,
hard
okay.
one.
I hope you like paper cuts.
Yeah.
Good thing I don't have disadvantage.
Right. So he takes it back and sort of quickly,
Hey,
but it's only three words. So he rolls it up and puts it into a tube.
I'll kill you.
Yeah, you're pretty sure he saw what it said. It might not mean anything to him.
Right.
But you see, he then goes and you realize there is a series of buttons on these tubes, and he presses a button and then puts it into the tube, and there's a thwomp as it disappears into the tube.
And that's right about the time where you hear Pebble finish.
And then my friend Elsie died, and the lady brought him back, and she said to bring back the other guy, and that was really all that happened.
That's all fascinating too. And when did you say this circus event happened?
Ah,
I
not long ago.
So what about the rest of you? Have you had as many colorful adventures as your friend here?
I grab Pebble's fin and start to pull him away. Like, no comment. Come on now.
Okay, bye, friend.
he waves at the dude.
Hope to see you again there, Pebble.
Me too.
So you then go over to the bench and sit down, and Ral Partha is still there, still looking around. Then you see he sort of slowly, step by step, makes his way over next to the benches you're sitting on.
Oh, hi,
And
it's you again. I'm so glad that you came over. I was about to go back over to you because I thought we were gonna go because my friend here, Sally, would get like pull me out, so I thought we were gonna go, but we didn't go until we sat down. I was like, "This is weird," and I was gonna go over there. I was gonna say, "Hey, you want to come over sit with us?" But you came sit with us anyway, so that's great.
yeah, I wanted to hear more about these stories. Any friend of Professor Bareth is a friend of mine.
That's
Great.
not what I hear.
Well, what do you hear, friend?
I hear you're on some sort of witch hunt.
I am definitely not on a witch hunt. I deal in the truth, sir. Like I said, I'm a reporter for the Sharn Inquisitive, one of the premier newspapers on all of Corvair.
Alzen's going to cast his unseen servant to summon a invisible
Talker.
something. Yeah, like a hand, something of sorts.
Yeah,
And
they're sort of vaguely humanoid, invisible servants.
okay, he he's going to have it try to while the if the guy is not paying attention, he's going to try to see if he can get it to like take the the paper, his pad that he's writing on.
Well, he's got to have like an ink thing, right? Maybe he could just spill the ink all over it.
Yeah, basically try to sabotage whatever he's doing. So yeah, like maybe spill
Right.
the ink.
So he doesn't have like ink. The pen he is writing with appears to be generating its own ink.
Of course.
He has the equivalent of a magical ballpoint pen.
Legit. It's the guy in small time.
So
Be a
there's no
real
ink
shame if
spill in
that
it,
broke on
and the
accident.
unseen servant isn't, because he's holding this notebook that he's writing in. The unseen servant might be able to like wrestle it away from him, but the unseen servant I think is a strength of two.
Yeah. No, I was
So
thinking more like if we could distract him, he's gonna like try to just like take the pen or take the notebook.
right, he is wearing what appear to be press credentials, like openly on his jacket. But the notebook is in his hand, so it's a tended object. He hasn't put it down yet.
Okay. The unseen servant will just be waiting,
Right.
waiting
I
in the
mean,
wings.
you could try to do something to get him to put the notebook down or away or something. I'm just not sure what you would plan to do to distract him that much that he would not want to write down whatever it is he sees.
Yeah, how about this? I'll distract him then. Like, get this guy to talk instead of write. Tell me, what is your theory? You clearly have a thought about uh, our esteemed professor. Let's hear it.
Well, there are so many sides to that question when you get down to it. Uh, you don't necessarily know what specifically I'm investigating, but I will say if you're friends of Professor Bareth, a lot of the a lot of his friends, in addition to not having much of a past to them, they go missing. Even his assistants, who seem to have perfectly normal histories, go missing. So he can sometimes be a pretty dangerous friend to have. That said, I'm not necessarily saying he's involved in any wrongdoing. I'm just curious about the very extensive web of adventurers with no past that he has an interest in.
And what
He's at
makes
the heart of something. I don't know what exactly it is, and frankly, my reporter senses are telling me you guys have something to do with it. You probably know more than me, so I don't tend to be in the business of speculation. I'm in the business of facts and news. That's why I'm so interested in what you guys are here for. Where did you say you're coming from? You don't sound like you're from Sean.
It isn't really any of your business where we're from.
You
Ah,
don't
fair enough. I'm not necessarily looking to pry into all of your personal business. I'm just curious about the location you are all coming from.
I'm from a Foxville.
Well, that would make some sense, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and then we had to escape the scary clouds, and so we had to find a way to get to the underwater, and then we got underwater boats, and then we went and we were doing that for a while, and then we came up and we were in this other place, and the place had lots of clouds around it, but it was really nice. And then I saw Elsie there, and I didn't realize it was Elsie because I didn't know him at the time. And then I went to another place, and I think it was supposed to be this place, but it looks very different than this place.
And he again is scribbling things down. You do notice that he must write super fast because the moment that Pebble stops talking, he like a half second later lifts his pen from the page. So either he's only taking down some of these details or he's writing furiously fast. And he does seem to be writing pretty fast. Who's Elsie?
Okay, right there.
And point to Elson.
And he writes something down. So, scary clouds. What do you mean by scary clouds? You mean like
The
storm clouds?
the, the clouds that eat you with the monsters.
haven't you been
He
reading
looks
the news?
he looks down at the at his pad and says, "So, are these the same sort of scary clouds you said hit the town that exploded?"
Kinda. They were the same color, but they were scary, and it seemed like they were not good to be in.
Huh, so, what color were the clouds in this town that exploded?
Red,
And what color were the scary clouds in the Frostvale?
green.
Hmm.
Yeah. Can I
So,
can I
red.
perhaps incite this guy to
Yeah, I
see
failed
his
already.
real like I just want to make sure, is he genuine, or something. Yeah, I
You
just want to
can
make
you can make an
sure.
insight check.
Oh my God. I'll action point once here, okay? Fucking oh my
I mean, you can't get much of a read on this guy. So, um, he seems
God.
genuine, but you don't have a good sense one way or another about whether or not he's lying to you about something. I
Okay.
mean, all of you can make an insight check. I don't know the
I'm
couple with
I'm gonna make one just because I'm curious what I get, but I'm not actually doing insight
I'm
because
gonna
it doesn't fit for Pebble to be actually paying attention right now, and
actually.
it makes sense.
You rolled a
yeah, I
couple.
mean, he seems genuine from what you can tell.
Um
And you
okay.
would, you do hear in Thaldarin, you hear in your head from Mully. There is a record of a reporter by the name of Raul Partha at the Sean Inquisitive. I can, he's written many, many articles for them. It seems like he probably started, or at least he first got a byline like a couple years ago.
Does he
And
have
who,
anything related to this professor?
not that not that survived to our age.
Uh so I'll look at this guy. I'm like, okay.
So tell me more about these clouds, friend. These were they just were they weren't like storm clouds though.
Let's call
Nope.
him let's call him a potential danger. Okay.
Were they
Let me
like magically created clouds?
I don't know. They were just always there. And sometimes they get bigger, sometimes they get smaller, but they were always there. And when I was in the Frostville, they started getting real big, real fast, and we had to go and we had to escape. And that we didn't all make it. And that was really sad because I lost a lot of my family that day.
I'm very sorry to hear that, friend. That was in the Frostville, right? Not in the town.
Yeah,
So, does the name Black Pit sound familiar to you, friend?
that's the place we were. That's the place with the red clouds and where my friend died.
Yeah, so
Not
some of
not
the
the
people.
friend that came back, the friend that turned into a spirit.
I see. And what was his name?
Hey,
So some of the pieces are falling into place for me. I know something about what happened in Black Pit. At least I've read stories about it. So you say you were there. You were there when the town exploded
yeah, we knew what was gonna happen.
and this red cloud formed.
Yeah, we didn't know what it was gonna be, but we knew something was gonna happen.
Like a great adventurer, we do see threads.
Yeah, it was called the Scary Night or something like that. A dark night. And bad. It was a bad night.
He just yells and
I love giving like
I'm,
the perspective of Pebble and everything that's happened.
I, the thing is, Staldern is sitting here and like, how the fucker can't remember a goddamn thing for nothing.
Whereas
But the
I was
very
actually thinking if he
except
just
for the very thing we don't want him to say ever. Like you did a fucking get some tape and close that goddamn beak of yours.
that would be funny if you got like a muzzle.
Yeah.
I still don't think a muzzle would work.
Yeah.
It would just turn into a
Well, I
game.
mean, the good news is if you muzzled Pebble, he can't like write things down to communicate with anybody. So it'd be very effective. Now, I was thinking though, like if this guy just misheard you a little bit, then what I heard through my headphones was something about a bat night and a dark night. And I was like, maybe this is the Eberron origin. So
Batman.
tell me, what else did you see in Black Pit? And are you here to see Bareth? Uh, is that related to what happened in Black Pit?
I don't know why we're here or why we're seeing the sky, but I remember there was a giant bat thing. I climbed on him. I jumped on his back, and he didn't like it. He was flying around, and I was punching him and kicking him, and he didn't like that. And then he bit me.
No, I'm sorry to hear that too. That this bat creature was in Black Pit, though.
Yeah, it was hurting people, so we had to hurt back.
Well, that makes sense to me. I mean, you want to help people who need the help. You don't want to see people get hurt.
No, I don't like seeing people get hurt.
So what else
That's
do you
why we're
remember
here.
about?
We're supposed to help people, and we're helping lots of people by doing this thing, whatever it is we're doing. 'Cause I told everybody that we gotta be brave.
I agree. It's always better to be brave. So tell me, you wouldn't have happened to have helped a bunch of refugees on the way out of Black Pit, would you?
Yeah,
I see.
we
Well,
helped a lot of people get out.
I don't know if it's of importance to you, but I think I may have heard something about your group then. There are not many groups with more than one bird person in it.
We do stand out.
It's an honor to make your acquaintance. I wouldn't say you're necessarily famous, but at least in my circles, tales of what you did in Black Pit have gotten around a bit. You haven't gotten nearly the press you deserve.
That sounds like a lot of cool things that are going on.
And I
So,
think that it's probably a good thing we don't get more recognition. It's a
well, but
hero,
I think,
a hero unsung is a hero. Uh, a hero unsung is better than a hero often known.
I got to disagree with you there, friendo. I think it's very important in this day and age that people get to hear about the heroism of the people around them. It's inspiring. It lets them know that it's worth it to be a hero. Too many people have spent way too long thinking about only themselves and not about the good that they can do for their community and their fellow sentient beings around them.
Plus, the more people that know you, the more friends you have.
That's
This
not
is
necessarily that's not always true, Pebble. But we we prefer the more we prefer the more anonymous route. We work better that way. We do good work. We do good work. But if we're known too much, we're already conspicuous. It could be difficult
What's in the
to continue
mommy
our work.
this mouth?
What was that? I didn't quite catch it.
What's in the mommy must mouth route?
That's why I didn't catch it. I thought you said something about what's in the mommy mist, and I was like, wait, what?
What is this new layer of the mist?
So after he hears Thaldarin say that and says, okay, I guess I can understand that. And you see he starts crossing something out.
Hmm.
If you ever want to tell your story, I'd be more than happy to get it out there. I do think it would be inspiring. I personally love reading tales of people who go out of their way to do good by their fellow sentient being.
Passing mention. Make it
I
known
don't,
that there are people out there who do help, and perhaps they should help too. Right?
well, perhaps I could put some short blurb to that effect. I haven't been writing stories about Black Pit myself, just reading them, you understand. I don't have much in the way of sources for Black Pit. If you would like to give me an interview, though, I'd be fascinated to hear what you saw, what your perspective was on that disaster.
Mm.
It would be a lot easier to, put in the word about your heroic acts leading refugees to Cragwar, as I understand it. If I had a longer story to embed it in, but again, I don't mean to make you famous if you don't want to be.
Yeah, and there are others. There are other survivors. I'm sure maybe perhaps one day you can get an interview with one.
ah, I can give you some information that I think you would find interesting. So the events at Blackpick were precipitated by the greed of the greed of an unfathomable amount of money orchestrated by Delise de Kundarak.
I see. And what makes you think that? Not that I would imagine many people would disagree with you that Deleuze de Kundarak is greedy, but I think that a lot of people wouldn't disagree with you if you said all Kundaraks are greedy.
Well, let's just say my sources are firsthand.
I see. So you met Lord de Kundarak.
We had occasion to we had occasion to
And are
we
you
had a
suggesting
conversation.
that her mining operations are the source of the explosion?
Oh, they are most certainly that. They are
Wait,
more
that's
than
the lady that put us in jail.
So don't worry about it, Pebble. Shush,
they
shush.
they are more than mining operations. They
Why did she put you in jail?
She doesn't like the truth getting out.
There was a lot of suspicion that perhaps there wasn't any actual mining at all.
Oh,
Yes.
I hadn't heard that. I had only
The
heard that they had found.
Kundaraks, at least the Kundarak spent unfathomable amounts of money hiring the
Right.
brightest minds only to keep them isolated and not talking to each other, just so that they didn't know what they were building.
I asked Molly if this guy ever wrote an article about this.
Again, Mully says there's no record. In fact, Mully can't find very many articles from this guy after about the current date,
Okay.
which doesn't mean he didn't, just means there were
Yeah.
those records didn't survive.
Listen, you seem like a nice guy and you are well intended. Some of this information could be dangerous.
Well, I'm no fan of the Aurum or the Acts in general, and I don't mind stirring up a little controversy if it helps people get to the truth, especially if that truth is that somebody can apparently blow up small towns, or at least, a good portion of a small town.
Yes. It was an accident by their experiments, and I'm sure it will only get bigger.
What makes you think that? I
Well,
mean,
greed does not stop because the hand gets bit. It only finds a way to not get bit again.
so what is it about this experiment that caused the explosion?
We don't have enough information for that.
Don't know. We don't have enough to say. Don't know enough to say.
And you say the mining operations may be fake. A lot of money, as I understand it, was sunk into these mining operations. What makes you think that they were fake?
It's possible that they weren't fake, but they were doing more than what was being mined. Suspicions of importing dragon shards into this region, which would be
That,
strange.
that is odd. I don't know why they would have to. I mean, I suppose they could have been importing different kinds of dragon shards, and you can only really mine kyber crystals out of that land around Black Pit itself.
And he also had been gathering a large, um, a fair amount of researching individuals of different backgrounds.
I had heard that. I had heard that it had something to do with the mining operation and new uses for dragon shards,
Yeah.
but I don't have many details on that. Only that it was being led by some reclusive member of House Cannith. Not much information on him, though. Do you do you happen to know who was leading the research?
I'll just look
Ah,
over to
yes.
Elzen.
That was Abelard.
Abelard Cannith. Name doesn't ring any bells. I don't think anybody is pursuing whatever that research was. I know some people think it's odd. There's at least unsupported rumors that the Aurum is unhappy that Deleuze de Kundarak was spending so much money on this Abelard fella. Also interesting that they were, as you said, keeping these researchers separate so that nobody could know exactly what it was they were building. So were they focused on some sort of magical invention or pure research?
That we
Ah,
don't know. They were kept
applied
separate, so we don't know.
applied research. I mean,
Yeah.
one doesn't spend that much to produce nothing. The goal is always to produce something physical.
I think that depends on the researchers, though I would suspect that the Kundaraks would agree with you that practical things lead to more money than pure research. My, again, very limited understanding of what was going on suggests that there were a number of purely research-minded academics that were hired to work for de Kundarak and his little operation. How they were being put to use and how de Kundarak was going to make money off of that, I don't know. Again, The speculation is that it was something to do with new uses for dragon shards, new sorts of inventions that perhaps he could sell to increase, or she could sell to increase her vast net worth.
I go over to the guy that sent the message. Is that thing working? Did he get our message? Is that thing working?
And the guy looks up from his desk and says, I'm sure it's working, sir. He may not have read the message the moment it arrived.
Right, yeah.
And as you say that, you hear another thwomp as a tube appears in the basket. And the guy reaches over and unfolds it. Unexpected. Apparently, you can go up. Please go up to the 12th floor. There is a lift here. And the same lift Cargill went into opens up. It's just like a little box beyond. Like a small room.
Okay.
Right.
You're looking for room 1216 when you get up there. There will be signs on the wall that will direct you.
16. I just look over to the reporter and say, "Stay safe."
You too, friends. Remember, a lot of people who work with Borith disappear.
We'll be all right.
Pebble gives the guy a hug before he follows everybody into the lift.
So he, being somewhat tall, he bends down and hugs you back with one arm.
Oh no, no, no. Pebble jumps up and into his chest and grabs hold of him.
So that he probably would use two arms to return the hug, so that you
You
don't
have to keep his balance.
right immediately slide down. You especially take care, Pebble, and remember, you guys are heroes. It'd be good for
Ah,
you to it'd be good for you to let people know so that people don't feel like they're alone in this cold and dark world.
you are white. That's exactly right.
Come
Thank
on.
you. Oh, okay, I'm coming. I'm coming.
You're gonna miss out. You better hurry.
Pebble waddles over.
Door's closing.
So you go in, you see there are a series of levers numbered 1 through 12.
All the way up.
So you pull lever 12, the door closes, and you can feel as this room gently rises upward. And then the door opens again. And Pebble, you see somehow this is not the same place. Like I don't know if Pebble would have taken into account that you've levitated upwards.
Yeah, he'd be like, "Wow, that's cool. How did it happen?" And then he like kind of looks out around the corner, and then he like looks back, and he's like,
The lift. It lifts you from where you are.
I didn't feel lifted.
I don't know how you didn't.
Well, you were. And Zelzen's like looking around for uh signage.
So yeah, you see there are signs saying that rooms uh, 1 to 40 are in one directions and rooms 41 to 90 are in the other direction.
It's a lot of rooms.
What room number were we going to?
1216.
12, 16. So yeah, so we'll go towards the 1 through 40.
So you find 1216. You see stenciled onto the door itself, it says Professor Delvius Bareth.
Knock.
Below that, it says, by the way, head of archaeology.
Hmm.
You hear a
course.
voice on the other side say, "Come in."
Walk in.
Yep.
So as you go inside, the room is extremely cluttered with small artifacts, most of which are tagged with dates on them. There are also like just maps on maps that are piled up on tables and desks around this room. It appears as though there's some sort of organization, but it must be a very complex organization because it's hard to see why certain things are sitting in certain places. Behind a large desk, you see there's an elderly Korovar. He, in human terms, looks like he's probably mid 60s, maybe 70. He's impeccably dressed, though he looks kind of tired. He has shoulder length, salt white hair that hangs loose, lightly tanned skin lined with age. He has eyes that seem to be sort of tracking your movements, though you notice that his eyes appear to be like just a half step ahead of you as he watches you enter the room. He also, next to him, has a cane that he uses to help himself up. Hello, you're not the people I was expecting, which is a sign of problems, I'm sure. But welcome and come in. Tell me, what brings you to see me?
What's this guy's first name again?
Delvius?
Pebble just blurts out, "Are you cussed?"
I hope not, but one never knows. What makes you say so?
Well, the guy outside said that everyone that comes to see you disappears.
That would be the reporter, I assume.
Yeah.
Please come in and close the door.
Elzen would close it behind everybody.
So when you close it, he goes over to his desk and picks up it's a what looks like a black marble sphere, and bangs it down into the ring it's sitting in. And almost immediately, you see the room fills with a light blue, almost sky blue set of sigils on the walls and door, floors and ceilings all around you. And the window that points outside to the towers of Sharn immediately becomes opaque. Can't be too careful. Have to make sure nobody's listening. So,
Wow, that was cool.
the reporter, I assume, harangued you in the entranceway.
That's
He
fine.
did. He was given ample time because we were waiting for so long to speak with you.
And we have a
He
very
knows,
wordy friend here.
well, that's
Talkative.
unfortunate. He already knows a bit too much for the good of the watch, but I don't think he can write a story on us quite yet, and I don't know what conclusions he would draw. He certainly doesn't understand the situation in full, but secrecy is generally our watchword. So, what year were you sent from? Like I said, you're not the group I was expecting at all. So, I'm not necessarily sure who sent you or when or what it is you were sent back to investigate. Though, whenever an unexpected group arrives, that's usually a sign something has already gone wrong. Hopefully, this will work out for the best.
We were set by Shepherd Hermes.
Oh, I know
Yeah.
him.
What year was it again? I don't remember.
I'm looking through my notes.
It was 1272 was the year you came from. And this is the year 998.
We
And
are
what were you,
I would let him know.
and what prompted them to send you back? Usually they'll send you back with some sort of objective.
We were to see if we could observe and ascertain what truly happened on the night of Long Knives.
I see. That certainly sounds impressive. What is the Knight of Long Knives?
A great uh, what's it
Well,
called
it
again?
was 2 weeks ago, or is the night.
Have you
Um,
read the stories of? Have you seen anything in the papers about Black Pit?
Oh, yes. I hadn't heard it called the Knight of Long Knives, but yes, I've heard about the explosion.
well, that is the name that it will get in the days
Apparently,
to come.
I don't know why it's called that though.
But it was,
Maybe we changed it.
You might have.
Maybe it was supposed to be different, but because of what we did, it turned into something else.
uh, those events were meant to be a precursor, or they were seen as a precursor to the calamity that befell the world.
At least potentially.
At least, yes. At least in the timeline that we were involved in.
Precursor's interesting choice of words. I don't know that there is such a thing as a precursor to the bite.
Well, there was definitely the bite like fog in Black Pit.
You're new to this time, so I will let you know. There have been many instances that I've come across in my time that include bite-like fogs. There are several potential causes. In fact, I don't think the bite is a phenomenon with a cause per se. I suspect it's a resonance echo, a convergence of causes, something that appears in records even before it exists, as if something in the future remembered the event and in remembering it is causing the threads of time itself to direct things in the direction of the bite, as if there's a consciousness calling it forth. This might be another manifestation of that, but we've seen other manifestations in Zendrick, possibly in Arganessen, although that team frankly disappeared, investigating the matter. Certainly, the morning does seem to have some connection to this event, though we don't understand exactly what, and there are certainly differences between what happened in Sire and what happened in the future. Then there are others. The quarry might be involved. There might be connections to Zoriat. There might be connections to the demon waste.
Well,
There might be connections to all of them. And strangely, nothing within the draconic prophecies that I've been able to find seems to mention any of it, despite the event in Arganessen. But we can get into all of that another time. There's reams and reams of information on the different events at this point. Tell me, tell me everything that happened. What happened when you got back? What happened in Black Pit?
well, in Black Pit, Delise de Kundarak was hired many researchers who independently research pieces to, from as far as we can tell, develop a technology to open a manifest zone between the planes where they are not aligned. So the news of Black Pit was actually a manifest zone from Fernia.
So let me ask the question of uh, is there any information that you're not going to share with Professor Barath?
I
Because
don't.
otherwise, Professor Barath will sort of want to go sort of step by step, day by day from when you got back to through the events so that he has a very complete picture of it, at least, to the best of all of your recollections. Um, but and so
I would say tell him everything.
Yeah,
He should know everything if he's gonna. if he's to be of any use to us.
Right. And
even
rather
even
than,
our unfortunate uh it's the unfortunate incident of giving this fucking orb to the people, I would make sure to include because I suspect the orb was the reason.
so, um, so this will then help us fast forward. I know now Professor Breath kind of has the complete summary, and you guys don't have to remember all 18 sessions previous to relay it in this particular episode. So you go through everything. I mean, Breath probably would pause a bit, and we can go through on the fact that you ran into other time travelers. And Bereth would say, yes, we've run into that before. There seems to be, and I don't think that the Shepherds of Time in the year you came from would be aware of it, although I did leave several years before that. There seems to be a rival organization, at least one and possibly more, that are also using chronomancy to send teams to this age and points earlier than this, so presumably also points later. They seem, we don't necessarily know who sent them. The agents who they send back seem to have very little information about the structure of their organization, though they're all promised power and wealth. And frankly, when they get back here, they seem to get it. Whoever they are, and this is troubling, I suspect they have a better, more well organized set of teams than the Shepherds of Time do. The Shepherds of Time in the past essentially have me, leader of what we call the Watch. I have many teams that are out right now investigating many potential causes.
So you say these people they get power and wealth. Do they get that when they go back? Do they go back in time to positions of influence?
Many of them seem to. Not all of them. They certainly have their grunts who are, at the lowest levels doing the dirty work. But at least one of the time travelers I know is very well placed in the city and has his own home, his own house that he's established in the Skyway. And there's no way he could have done that without the Council of Sharn allowing him to move up there. The great houses must have had a say in letting this person establish a house there. There's not a lot of real estate in the Skyway. Now, he has been on the ground here for at least 20 years, from what my sources can tell me. That does give him time to build up influence, but he's had a house for 5. 15 years is not a lot of time to get enough renown to get real estate that valuable.
They say they the agents want the power and all. Do we know anything about this rival faction? What they seeking?
Again, I don't know that it's one faction as or if it's more than one. They don't all seem to use the same technology, though that could be a reflection of the fact they're being sent back from different times. They don't, as far as I can tell, all seem to have a single hierarchical organization in the way the Watch does, in that everyone in the Watch ultimately reports to me directly or indirectly.
And you're sure that it's an organization?
Like I said, it could be more than one, but there are several temporal agents that do report to that one person.
Is this,
Kelvin Atramov is his name. If you find out anything more about him,
I
it
say,
could
should
be
we
important.
investigate this person?
I have people looking into him. and have done as much research as I think we can without simply getting him to confess everything to us. He's very well guarded. I have someone on the inside, but he's cagey, as I am. What their ultimate goal is, I don't know. For all I know, they're also trying to prevent the bite. But the fact that they're instantly and automatically hostile to the shepherds suggests to me some more nefarious purpose. And it sounds like the ones you encountered on the lightning rail were from the same group as Kelvin.
We did run into some anti-shepherd sentiment in before we came back here. It
Yeah,
was
you would have gone over the fight on the lightning rail. You would have, like
no,
I
like
said, he would want to go
not on
day
the
by day.
lightning rail. Like before while we were selling Shosharn, thought we ran into somebody that like there was like people that definitely didn't like the Shepherd's time or thought they were
That is true. You did. So you're not sure. So yeah, yeah, he wouldn't have started back when you were still in the future. Um, but if you share that story, that would be of interest to him too. That there was that tablet that related to chronomancy that got stolen in the church, that led to a chase through Upper Tavik's Landing to eventually to the sky dock where there was a Lyradar airship waiting for the guy. So all of that would be very interesting to him as well. Yeah, it
Was
does
a
sound.
yeah, yeah.
And those people definitely were hostile to the Shepherds of Time. Huh. There was nothing like that in the year I left. No open hostility. No, all the Lyrandar airships were certainly accounted for. I don't think the Shepherds could have gotten the use of a Lyrandar airship on their own.
Do you know of it? Do you know of any shepherds that had bigger ideas that may have felt stifled by the shepherds of time that would have a reason to break away?
Not off the top of my head. I mean, there certainly were personality differences and differences in the goals of the organization. In fact, the the council that ruled Shosharn uh, ultimately had their own power struggles, and at least one shepherd before my time was a member of that council. Eventually, when he passed away, the council defunded the shepherds, and the shepherds essentially became an independent organization. Though I would say defunded is probably something to put in quotes because the shepherds were still getting money from somewhere. I suspect the shepherds were more taken off the books of the government of Shosharn, but still being indirectly funded by them. If not, I don't know where the shepherds were getting their funding. But certainly different people had different ideas about how best to use the chronomancy magic that the shepherds had uncovered. So far as I know, all of them still wanted to stop the bite. So again, this rival organization may not necessarily be completely opposed to the goals of the shepherds. Though from what you say, it did sound as if there was more animosity than that, and something more nefarious might have been going on.
Did he have any
But
interest in the?
it is something to keep an eye out for. Obviously, you've already experienced that if you run into a temporal agent, unless they have some sort of anti-divination magic on them, you'll be able to know you're in the presence of one. Over time, you'll find that you're able to mask your outward reaction so that if you detect it, you might not be quite so obvious that they'll be able to instantly know who it is that is a fellow time traveler. You do notice too, there's nothing quite like what you experienced when you were on the lightning rail with Delvia's breath, but there is like a buzzing in the air. You can tell that there is some sort of feeling. It's just not as overpowering as what you felt before.
Does the
So
name does the name Sabius Vereen mean anything to you?
that's another interlude. If you went through that portion, the portion where you got locked up and
Yeah.
how you got freed, he would then, when you got to that portion of it, ask, I do know of Sabius Vereen. I don't know all of his backstory, but it is a name that has come up before. So tell me, who do you think this mysterious benefactor of yours was who helped you get out?
Hmm.
Why would someone have taken an interest in helping you escape?
I think our friend Lita might be a little bit more involved, but I have no proof of that. Just instinct.
Interesting. I mean, it is possible. In fact, it seems a certainty that Sabius Vereen must have someone on the inside of Dekundarak's operation. I suppose I'd be a little surprised if it was an actual academic. Academics tend not to be so good at the clandestine spy work that I would expect from the people who tend to associate with Vereen. As I said, I don't know all that much about Vereen, but I do know that a surprising number of people report to him. In a sense, his organization may not be that much different than the Watch.
Time traveling? Or
No, I don't think so. Sabius is clearly much more interested in the goings on in Breland and much more suspicious of Breland's potential enemies. I suspect, and this is speculation to a very large extent, so take it with a grain of salt, that Sabius Vereen may be one of the masters of the Dark Lanterns, and the people who periodically report to him may be Dark Lantern agents. He essentially operates, I think, as their handler.
do I know what the hell Dark Lantern is?
Yeah.
So anybody, you can all make a history check.
Hey, Mully, what are the Dark Lanterns?
It's one of those moments where I'm like, I know, I know.
Because Mully is Mully, you make that check with advantage. As the Dark Lanterns, they're pretty well known. Like the specifics of their organization, not super well known, but the term and the existence of them. They are essentially a Brellish group of secret agents that essentially do espionage and spy work.
Okay, for the
But
country.
right, you and
And
Elzin would both know that. Yes, definitely for Breland itself.
got it. Okay. Huh?
Interesting that they want you to report to him, though I can see why he would be equally interested in this information. Uh, I can say I don't necessarily see a reason not to inform him, but I also don't see a reason to do it. He's a patriot above all else. I don't know to what extent that will help or hinder our operations in the future. It might be good to have the nation focused on Dekundarak, but you have to understand, to lose Dekundarak is a member of the Aurum. The Aurum is not controlled by Breland, and to some extent they have influence over Breland. It's a adversarial relationship, I would say. Brelin definitely doesn't want the Aurum to get power, any more power over it, but they're an influential group.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
But other than that, I can't say much. Other than, yes, Sabius definitely does seem to have his base of operations in the King of Fire, as he's there most days.
I'm sure we'll be paying him a visit at some point. Be useful to have good friends like that, potential friends. Speaking of Pebble, buddy, you got to stop telling people that we know things ahead of time. It
Huh?
confuses them. It
Pebble
confuses them.
looks up because while everybody's been talking, he's gotten really bored, so he's just gone around the room like looking
Uh-huh.
at all the different things
I know that's why I'm trying to distract him before he breaks something. And then yeah.
What did you say?
I said you got to stop telling people that we know things that we knew things are going to happen before they happen. It,
Did
it's
I say
confusing
that?
for people. You sure did.
I mean, but we did.
I know we did, but that doesn't mean that it's helpful to tell other people that. It's not helpful
Why
for
not?
us because if the wrong people learn about us, we
Who are
could be
the wrong
killed.
people?
The other time travelers that are bad. You remember you fought some on the train?
Yeah, but that guy just said my head will hurt if I see more. So I mean, if my head hurts, then I know not to talk.
Well, that there's only so many of them. They have to have people working for them here, which means those people aren't going to make our head hurt.
Yeah, but what about people that will help us? And what about friends? Friends that we haven't met yet?
Not everybody wants to be our friend.
I don't know about that.
I'm positive of this. Remember, those gentlemen on the train, they tried to kill you immediately. They weren't trying to be your friend.
Yeah, but if they just give me a chance, I'm sure we'd be friends.
You are on a completely different mission than they are. Their mission wants us to be killed.
Well, I don't want to be killed.
I don't want you to be killed, buddy. That's why we have to be careful.
But it's just
Can't
so confusing because I just like to make friends. And I like to tell people things, and I don't know
Mhm.
what's good things to say or bad things to say.
I'm gonna help you out right now. Tell them about the things that you like to eat and play with. Start with that.
I always do.
Yeah, but then you give them other things that they don't need to know.
But
Some things are what we call private.
what do you mean?
Private means those are things that only that we know and other people don't. They're like secrets. You know a secret? Have you ever
Yeah, we will wait to never really keep secrets. Secrets to hurt families.
Yeah. Well, you're telling people our secrets that we need them to not know.
Yeah, but that's why I was waiting. I was that we shouldn't keep secrets because secrets hurt families.
You-
So if you don't keep secrets, then you can't hurt families.
If you tell the wrong people our secrets, we get killed.
Then we shouldn't have secrets.
Lee goes and lays down.
So yeah, Lee lays down on the floor, just staring at the ceiling.
Realizing the futility of this discussion, that's why he did not stop Pebble when he was talking earlier. This is just let him go. Just let it ride, baby.
All right. How about this, Pebble? I'm going to come up with the code word. The code word is going to be stop talking. And whenever I say that, I need you to stop talking. Got it?
Yeah, but what about all the times that I was talking and we made friends? Like that one person I gave the crown to, and that one person that died, and we brought them back to life, or I think they got brought back to life because they were getting get married. And then also there was that one lady with the things in the hood that moved weird, and she gave us a job where I started talking to her. And that guy out there, he did pretty cool. He said we were heroes.
Pebble. Pebble. You remember that orb?
The what?
The orb that we took out of that card.
No.
It was a shiny orb. Of all things, I figured this would stand out in your mind. Big, perfectly round. It's quite incredible.
Oh, the bubble.
It's okay. It's a glass orb.
It was
It's possible.
it was like the bubble that I
We
wanted, except it was
we
smaller.
we really needed to keep that
So why didn't we?
because you told them that we had it. We needed to keep it a secret so that we could keep it.
Yeah, but we had it.
I know that we had it. We didn't want them to have it
So why
But-
did we just keep it?
because then they would have killed us to get it from us.
I don't remember it that way.
That's how it turned out. I promise you.
To be fair, you don't necessarily know what caused the orb to explode. It's not impossible that if you had held on to the orb, it still would have exploded eventually.
At least we would have known.
We wouldn't be that lucky.
So actually, because I told them about the bubble and the bubble didn't explode when we had the bubble, Pebble saved the group. I'm a hero again.
Yeah, but then they broke the orb open and everybody died.
Yeah, but
Oh.
it didn't break with us. So we didn't die.
That a
I
minor
like-
miracle in itself.
I like chatty Pebble. I don't want sad Pebble. Cauldron.
Yeah, I mean, at least Sad Pebble isn't saying so much, you know? All right, Pebble. Just try and be careful.
I'm always careful.
No, you're not. But try and be careful, okay?
Okay.
You realize the only way this is going to work is one of us is going to have to get the silence spell and hit him with silence.
I know. I do know this.
Okay.
I'm just looking at Elzen. That's your job.
That is only a temporary fix at best. As soon as Pebble works out that if he just moves a few feet, he gets out of the radius of silence. He'll just step out of the silence and be like, why does this keep happening?
It'd be like when Ace Ventura when he's like got the glass door. Ah, ah, ah.
You know what? At least he'd stop talking. He'd just be yelling a sound, you know? We'll get there. We'll get Pebble thinking. We'll get Pebble thinking a little bit. Even if it is just a fucking little bit, we'll get there. Baldwin will call that a success. He could die happy.
What's it called? The helm of intellect or something?
Yeah, that's what's funny is I'm wearing one of those. It's Lil Mully. It just comes with extra bits, so I don't think it'll work for Pebble.
But yeah, Pebble, you see, there are all sorts of things in this room. There is what appears to be a humanoid shadow that's just sealed in a box that occasionally moves. There's a storm that is just sort of hovering over a small circular pedestal. Pedestal is the wrong word. It's only like an inch high, but it's sitting on a desk. It looks sort of worn and ancient. So there's a number of just boring squiggles on pages that you wouldn't care about. But there's like a lot of stone artifacts around with squiggles on them. There's a brass sundial of some sort that periodically you'll see it flashes and the shadow that's on it that indicates the time moves backwards and then slowly edges its way forwards again. You see a cracked pocket watch. There's the head of a Warforge that's labeled as having, it's right, you can't read the label. Never mind. There's a head of a Warforge with some useless piece of paper attached to it. Most of the artifacts have useless pieces of paper attached to them with more squiggles on them.
All your cool things have paper all over. Just have trash all over. I'll throw it away for them.
Why are these dead leaves everywhere?
Yeah, there's a lot of little dead leaves on them. You see, there's what looks to be like a tiny dragon skull that you can hear whispering from. There's what
Ooh,
initially,
Pebble focuses in on that and tries to hear what is whispering, and then he tries to whisper back.
New friend.
so it doesn't respond to your whispering back, and I could say you don't understand the language it's speaking, but the whispering seems to continue, and Pebble would realize it's weird because it's not like a sound. It is only when you stare directly at the skull do you hear the whispering. And I don't know if Pebble would fully comprehend it, but it seems to be telepathic and it's only heard by somebody who's looking directly at the skull.
Pebble would spend a lot of time just looking at the skull, trying to figure out what it's saying because it's just a friend he hasn't made yet.
I just
But
So
he
yeah,
doesn't think it's a skull. He thinks that maybe there's a little person inside the skull, so he kind of keeps looking to see if he can catch a glimpse of them, like behind the eye holes or whatever.
there's also a jar of sand that has something moving around inside it underneath the sand.
I just looked at the professor. Can we take that skull? It's the
I
quietest he's been all day.
I wouldn't. In fact, you probably shouldn't stare at it for too much longer.
I,
There's
whatever.
definitely a relationship between that skull and the quarry.
Mental then in the mind.
Related to dreams. But yes, there's a psychic element to it.
I'm sure Pebble's immune then.
Mm.
But he could wind up having bad dreams if he continues to stare at it. And frankly, I'm a little concerned that the people who have bad dreams are actually just being probed by the whatever exists in Dalcor. I try not to look at it myself, but the effect does seem to take a prolonged period of exposure.
Hey, Pebble buddy, let's move on.
Huh?
Next object.
But this thing's so cool. Look, I
It's
look
gonna
at
give you.
it talks. I look away, it stops. I look at it, it talks. I look away, it stops. I look at it, it talks. I look away, it stops.
The professor here says that it'll give you bad dreams if you keep looking at it. That seems to be. I suppose that's its only purpose. Unless you want to have bad dreams, I'd stop looking at it.
How about
Well,
this? Pebble,
I had bad dreams for a long, long time. But since I've been here, I have only had good dreams. So
Pebble, if there was someone you could see right now, who would it be? Anyone in the world.
My family.
And he walks over and from a high shelf takes down what looks like a cracked mirror in a sort of a metal claw that's holding it and says, "Here, look into this mirror."
Okay.
And as you look into the mirror, you see there's initially all you see in it is a grayish pink mist that begins to clear, and you see your family engaged in like a series of hugs, like a chain reaction of hugs. I might even say a pengle of hugs. But what you're seeing, I mean, you remember the space. I assume you remember the space. I don't remember the Pebble having like a bad memory per se, so much as just not understanding things.
Yeah.
Um, but it is in the apartment that Elzen set your family up in. And it looks exactly like you remember it. So Pe Pebble wouldn't understand that it's in the future, but it does appear to be in the future.
And Pebble would be like, "Hey, it's my family. There, there, there's there, and there, and there, and he's in there. Hey guys, hey, can you hear me? Hey, 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 can you hear me?"
I think I gave him the wrong thing.
Yeah, give him back the skull.
I don't think the mirror is harmful, so I think the skull is. And frankly, whatever is listening through the skull, I don't think we want them to have access to the contents of Pebble's mind.
I
Maybe
don't
it's
know
the
what they would
perfect
get out of
weapon.
Would probably be better.
Pebble is the
I
first person the skull refuses to speak to.
like I don't. Nobody wants access to Pebble's mind.
In his
Uh,
dreams, I think they could probably extract some useful information.
fair. Um, why is it that the that journalist says that adventurers disappear after meeting with you?
He's quite right about that. He's, like I said, figured out more than perhaps is healthy for him or our organization. But from his perspective, that's what you are, a group of adventurers. And when new teams come to this time, or in the past 80 years that I've been here, uh, I send them out on further missions to gather what information we can. And frankly, sometimes it's dangerous and they don't come back. He's already figured out
Hmm.
that it's hard for them to establish a past, at least not perfectly. And he's done the digging needed to look through some of the cover stories we've come up with for people. In fact, I need to get to work on that for your group. I'm going to need to get you identification papers and try to set up some sort of past for you so that if people have questions about you, you know how to answer. Then he looks at Pebble. Well, some of you will know how to answer.
Yeah. Well, we have a
But you'll
start
find things
some
go
papers here.
easier if you have identification papers.
Yeah, this time Elzim was able to get us through. We have
And as
temporary
for,
papers, and I'll show them.
I'm also curious to hear more about Heloise Troon. I know her name too, although I'm unaware of any connection she might have to the bite or any of the business we've been interested in. She's quite a sensation here in Sharn. Said to be, I met her once, definitely a beautiful woman. Brilliant, I'm told, although I didn't have a conversation with her. More of a socialite, if a somewhat erudite one. I didn't realize she was so much of a researcher or had so much insight into the sorts of research this Abelard Cannith would be having. I do know something of him as his name has come up in our dealings with others. Abelard started out as a Cannith engineer in the city of Making in Sire. What he was working on, I don't know exactly, but he was fairly well placed, and his work was very much secret, even amongst the members of House Cannith. I initially would have assumed he was killed in the end of the last war, but I guess he must not have been in Sire or in the city of Making itself.
What a coincidence. He seemed to leave just in time for the event in Black Pit too.
I assume we showed showed him the letter we got.
So you don't have the letter anymore. You gave the letter away when you gave the sphere.
We
You
have the
kept the
research
What about the
notes.
journal though? The
right. You
burned
kept the
journal.
The messed
yeah.
up
You
one.
kept the research
Okay,
notes.
I was trying to remember which one we had.
I don't know if his not being there was a coincidence or not. As near as I can tell, uh, from what you've said, it sounded as if they were conducting tests and doing research to make this device, which would make it odd if years ago they already had one, although perhaps they were trying to figure out some piece of the puzzle that got lost in the morning itself. There's still questions about what exactly it is they were doing that I have. So you're right. It is possible that seems unlikely to me that House Cannith would have purposefully destroyed Sire. And from what you've said, these clouds seem to sort of appear and spread out in equally and evenly in all directions. The morning is very different. The morning exactly hugs the political boundaries of Sire, and not just the political boundaries of Sire, the political boundaries of Sire at the moment of the morning, as Sire lost territory in the war, and the former territories of Sire did not get affected by the morning. Only the exact political boundaries of Sire at the moment of the morning. That suggests some sort of intelligence. Now, again, I think something remembered the bite and is projecting lines of temporal energy into the past, guiding the past into the future that creates the bite itself, making it a self creating phenomenon of a sort. It is possible that the same intelligence was involved in creating the morning. And for some reason, that intelligence decided to affect the nation of Sire itself. But as that is the base of operations for House Cannith, I'm not sure why Abelard would have been interested in destroying Sire. There may be a reason, it's just unclear at the moment. But it may be worth paying a visit to Heloise Troon and seeing what information she has. She is an odd one. She's unbelievably popular. Perhaps that is just an old man and an academic speaking, but she is feted among the highest elites in Sharn, but also strangely famous among people outside those circles. People crowd around her building hoping to catch sight of her. There are artists who draw pictures of her that get sold to the public. And admittedly, she's a very attractive young woman, but I don't recall anyone having this level of fame and celebrity in Sharn before. Not at least anyone who wasn't an actress or a famous bard. And she's definitely none of those. Other than that, I can't say I know all that much about her. I was unaware she had any connection to Abelard de Cannith whatsoever. She's also a refugee from Sire, though, so perhaps they met in Sire. do you have any questions for me? I mean, you look, let's say, well traveled. I can help you with accommodations for a time. I don't know what your plans are. I don't have anything permanent set up for you at the moment, but I can try to find something.
Accommodations would be great. And uh perhaps more formal papers.
Yes, I will definitely get to work on providing you with papers uh, and backstories for all of you that situate you in this world. You might have to deal with it. It really would do no good to suggest that you fought in the last war, as those things are much more easily tracked, particularly here in Breland. I could say that you were soldiers of some other nation, but so long as you're here in Breland, that would not be so advantageous for you, as there are people who would hold that against you.
Makes sense.
So better to say that you didn't fight in the last war. Some people might hold that against you too, as so many people did. And there is, among some, a sense of anybody who avoided service being a shirker or a coward.
What? How
So
long
it
ago
may
was it?
be the last war just ended a few years ago, like
I
four
see.
years before.
I mean,
I am
I
I,
imagined, by the way, Thaldrin to be fairly young, so I don't know if maybe he might be considered too young to have to have fought in it.
How old is Thaldarin?
Uh, I never officially wrote it down, but I was imagining around the realm of 25. So he would have possibly, but he would have
So
been pretty young.
I would say, so this is their equivalent of World War One.
Yeah,
And
so maybe.
in in that regard, like there definitely were among humans 18-year-olds who fought in this war, but there were also people younger than that who like 18 probably in different nations, different rules. In Breland, they would have started even at some points conscripting people who were 18, but it was, it was also a century-long war, so it wasn't quite as popular in the end. There definitely were people who lied about their age to fight in the war because that was sort of, the best option they had, or they had some weird notions of the romance of it. But 18-year-olds definitely were fair game. And it wasn't always voluntary.
Yeah.
Like when you get up into Thrain, it definitely got younger. Younger people would have been fighting, particularly at the end. So I need to know from each of you what nation you want to say you're from so that we can start to establish backstories for you. And if you have any preferences about what that backstory would entail, now's the time to tell me, as we will have to start planting documents for people to find that help support your story.
one wrinkle is I am Elzen the Galander and Dragon Mark. I'm not sure were I to run into other of a House Galander, what I would tell them, given that
That,
I would have
that
some kinship, but would not be in any of their records.
right. I was going to say that would be a bit of a wrinkle because if they cared to check and you are dragon marked, they would definitely have a record of a, I assume, I don't know as much about House Galandra as others, but Cannith is an odd exception because it's fractured into three competing groups, but most of the Dragon Mark houses have very detailed records of who has a Dragon Mark, if only because the best thing for them is to try to cause people who have dragon marks to mate with other dragon marked lines to enhance the possibility of the children carrying that tradition on to keep the bloodlines relatively pure. Galandra's a new house, though, and often shirks those rules. You might get away with saying you're a member of House Galandra, particularly if you are still living in the Talenti Plains. So if you want to use the good name of your house, I would suggest your background would be from some obscure place in the Talenti Plains. And then you can always claim it was some sort of oversight that they didn't keep a record of you, or that the records are only in the remnants of the house that are still stationed in the Talenti Plains. Or, luckily, at least from what I can see, it seems your dragon mark is well hidden. You could always tell them that you're not. You could tell them that you're from House Galandra, but not dragon marked. That would give you less prestige and less influence, of course.
It comes in handy from time to time. But yes, well, that's good to know.
You still might draw questions. It is possible I'm mistaken and their records go deeper than I know.
Hmm.
I suppose it depends on who you're dealing with. The higher up in the house they are, or if they themselves are dragon marked, they might have better information than I would expect.
Yeah. So you're saying that there's a chance that they want dragon marked the houses like collecting all the dragon marked people for mating.
Many of them do. Most of them do. You don't, if, as a, you would know better than I do, but as a dragon mark bearer, most marriages are arranged. You don't choose who you marry. They marry you to someone who can solidify the power of the house or your particular line within the house, and so that your children or grandchildren or great grandchildren have that much greater of a chance of bearing a dragon mark themselves. You don't want to, so they say, dilute the blood. Seems weird to me too. I don't think that it's a very good idea to interbreed yourself too closely, but it is the way the Dragonmark houses have lived for millennia now.
Hmm.
Other than House Galandra, which is the newest of the Dragonmark houses. Well, you don't necessarily have to decide on your backstories now. The sooner you get them to me, the sooner I can get my network of people on the job of creating these fake pasts for you. I'm
What's my
afraid
backstory gonna be?
I think yours may be the easiest of all, Pebble. Yours and Lee may, in fact, be similar. You can easily just say that you're a visitor from the Frostfell. No one will expect you to have much more of a backstory beyond that. You're also, frankly, harder to come up with any other backstory for, because if you were to say, well, you've lived in Sharn your whole life, people would know that they haven't seen many Pengals here. There was a Pengal here at one point, but only one that I'm aware of. He's
There
still here, I
was?
think.
Really? Where?
We're gonna find this guy. He's gonna be the grumpiest fucking guy we've ever met.
A grumpy genius. I'm afraid I don't know where he is, though I do know who his best friend in the world is, though I think he has many best friends in the world. You know who his best friend in the world is too.
I do?
You do.
Who is
Hermas
it?
Eldadar in the future will become known as Shepherd Hermas. They have a very tight friendship.
Oh, I think I remember something like that. He said something about pang pangolins are cool. I remember him saying that. So yeah, it
Listen,
makes sense that he had a best friend, Pangle. Pangles are the bestest of friends.
my understanding is they are legitimately very close in this time frame. I wouldn't necessarily recommend that you seek him out, though,
Why not?
because, well, frankly, I'm afraid you're going to tell Hermas about his future, and we try not to do that. We don't know what effect sharing details of the future will have. It could wind up getting Hermas killed, for example, if he knows that he will become a shepherd. If he finds out about the bite and tries to do something about it now, that could lead to his premature death because obviously in his prime timeline, you don't understand anything that I'm about to say.
I don't know what you're saying at all. I just want to find the Pangle dude.
Uh, So let me just say, did you like Shepherd Hermas?
Yeah,
So Shepherd Hermas is much younger now, right now, here today, than you remember him. He was probably a very old man when you saw him.
yeah, you're very old.
Now he is younger than you. At least
Whoa.
within, he's a gnome. He's older than you, but he would look younger than you. And if you were to tell him about old man him, it might wind up killing him. Maybe not right away, but like in a short period of time.
I
And
don't want
so
I don't want him to die.
I know. And so if you run into him, you shouldn't tell him that you saw him when he was an old man because you don't want to hurt him and it would hurt him.
Okay.
See, this is one of those secrets. This is a special secret.
Is it a secret?
It's a secret from him. It's a secret from him that he will learn later on his own. How about that? So we can't tell him. He must learn it himself.
I don't get it.
Oh boy.
But
Yeah, I know.
but okay.
Don't tell him. If we see him, don't tell him that you have seen him old.
Well, how am I gonna know? I did never seen him young.
I'm sure you might recognize him.
I don't know. All you non-beat cabin people look the same.
So hopefully this is not the problem.
It's
If we
making
go seeking for trouble, we do not find it.
Pebble sees like, a half orc, a human, and a goblin lined up. He's like, twins.
Now, we were tasked to to recover information about the Night of Long Knives. How do we get that information back to the future?
I
Things we
will
told you.
take care of that. There is a protected archive in the Library of Morgrave. That protected archive will survive. So information that we try to feed to the future, we hide in the archive, which I have full access to.
Okay, very
It's
good.
there is a complicated set of temporal causality problems that arise every time we save new information there. You won't remember the future any differently than you do now, but it will change subtly, usually, but it will change as a result of our saving information there. So the good news is nothing we put in the archive will cause you not to exist. Though the bad news is our putting knowledge there doesn't directly impact the bite in the future. Our
Yes.
hope is that we will uncover enough information that we will be able to stop the bite once and for all in the past. That, if we can do it, will drastically change the future and essentially erase it, which shouldn't, again, affect our existence now. Though it will affect everyone in the future who hasn't traveled into the past. So do you intend to talk to Sabius Vereen? I don't object if you want to. I just don't know what effect it will have. Could create a new ally for you. It could create new complications. If you want to honor the request of your benefactor, whoever it is, he or she helped you out before, I would understand and respect that.
I mean, I do not, I do not see a reason why we wouldn't. It was, they did us a big favor.
Yeah. I'll do
Fair
my best
enough.
to keep I'll do my best to keep Pebble out of the room.
And I would
Well,
ask that before you start investigating Heloise Troon, that you allow me to set up these false IDs for you. I think you should know what you're going to tell her about who you are, because otherwise you could get different stories going to different people.
yes, of course.
So why don't we, and he hands you a piece of paper, why don't we meet tomorrow? Take this piece of paper, go to the address on it. The woman who runs the inn knows me. She is one of us. She's not a time traveler, but she is a member of the watch. She'll give you rooms and put you up until we can find more permanent accommodations for you. You can come back here at noon tomorrow and we can discuss what your IDs will be. And then I can get people working on creating the appropriate documentation and planting documents where needed. The further away it is from Sean, the more time it will take to set it up. But in a way that works in our favor too, is the more time it will take for people to go and try to search distant archives. Virtually any of the 5 nations you want to come up with, we can plant information on, including Sire, at least before the morning. If you do choose to suggest that you're from Sire, you'll have to explain where you were after the morning. So bear that in mind.
Very well.
And so you go out and find this inn he's directed you to, and she gives you each rooms. And that's where we can wrap it up for this session. In the interim, just email me. You can be as detailed or as short about it as you want. You email me a backstory that you think would make sense for your character in, 998YK. Uh, and you will get identity papers. Again, for he would add that for Lee, you probably should you can come up with anything. But it would also make sense for you to be a traveler from not Syriana, the other pronunciation, Sarania. And in a sense, that would be ideal because no one can check on records there, or at least no one could ordinarily check on records there. Same for the Frostfell. There's like no place to go to find like an archive for the Frostfell. And if people were to check, they would find that there are definitely Aarakocra and Pengals living there. So, and travelers come to Sharn all the time.
Yeah. Sharon is a huge merchant shipping hub.
Right. And if random travelers are going to come anywhere, Sharn is probably more likely than most places.
Yeah.
There a picture of this place?
Of Sharn.
Hmm.
I'm sure I can find a picture of Sharn. Let's see. I mean, I can show you. There's actually a really good online semi-interactive map, but well, that should have been easier than it is, but there's 1,000 pictures on this site.
Says here there's lava pools.
There is below the city. Oh, there it is. So there is one image of Sharn. So that is, the skyway above to show you the scale of it relative to the rest of the city. It's actually quite large.
Yeah.
I kind of imagine Sharn like that mega city from the Fifth Element.
Yeah, that makes
Mhm.
sense too. So, but there are also subterranean levels of Sharn, which is where you get down into like the lava pits level.
Yep, the cogs. And then there's a giant crypt city too.
Right. There's also this map, which I like a lot, as it also sort of shows you the name of all the little areas.
Hmm.
There are the lava pools.
Not to scale.
Yeah.
Nice.
So thanks for playing, everyone.
Thanks for running.
Yeah,
Yep.
thanks for
Thanks,
running.
everyone. For uh the unnamed Planescape game, I think that we'll be able to meet on Tuesday if people are good to go.